best and worst part about bulking is eating the food, because man, it's great to always have food and not have to worry really about like the calories so much, because you're eating so much that you almost have to track it to make sure that you're hitting that number and not dropping below. Obviously, you can go way up above and beyond if you start going crazy, but for the most part, like if you're eating relatively clean, it's pretty tough to hit the higher numbers. The more calories you add onto your stuff. I mean, the same goes for cutting though. Like at some point you have to track, because there's no way to eat that little food without starving and having something remind you that you shouldn't be eating anymore. Anyway, and then like the worst part is that I have to eat so much, because I seem like it's like you're always full. And not that that's like the worst thing in the world, but it is when it comes to like training. And like the best example I have is I went to jiu-jitsu last night, right? And I worked most of the day, and I wasn't caught up on food. So I got home, and I was putting together the meal that I had in the fridge, and I only had like, I think it was only like an hour or maybe even less until I had to be at jiu-jitsu. So I was going to shovel that down and then head out. And I like, it's a little easier with lifting. Like lifting wise, if you eat right before you go, you can kind of get around it, as long as you drink you sip it on some water and you kind of like get moving a little bit. But doing all that stuff and being like throwing around and like rolling around and like trying to set up techniques and stuff, and then crunching all the time, like, it just does not chive well with your full belly. And honestly, I should have ate a couple hours before, or even better, I should have cut that meal in half. The problem is that my class starts at like 6, and then it's for like 2-ish hours. So then I'm not even home until like 8:30ish, and then I want to eat my last meal, because I don't want to eat too close to bed, because I don't know about you, but if I eat too close to bed, I either have crappy sleep or I just can't sleep at all. So I try to get that down right when I get home. So then if I split my meal up, then I would have ate even bigger meal for that. And then because my meal is already so big, I feel like I'm eating bricks now. And I mean, this is a testimony that I should probably turn my little snack of the day into an actual meal, and then figure out timing wise maybe a few more meals in the morning instead. So working on that right now, especially with me adding more and more calories as the weeks go, because I'm really trying to push that size, and it's been feeling pretty good. Like with the extra calories, with not even just size wise and strength wise, just overall energy. You get enough food in, you just seem like energy is great. I don't have to drink as much caffeine, which is really nice. Other than like when I have to eat like a bigger meal, and that kind of makes you sluggish and tired and makes you want to take a nap. Other than that, like, energy is really great. So loving the way it's making me feel, and then getting back into training this week has felt really good too. I've been able to utilize the calories I've been eating in lifting and jiu-jitsu now, and it's pretty good. I'm liking the feeling. So I'm going to take the last couple bites of this, freaking finish up what I was doing on the computer, and then get ready to go to the gym. And I believe we have leg day today, and I believe it's a squat day. So we'll see how. And I think it's just normal back squats. It could be different. I'll have to recheck, but if I remember right, it's just back squats, which is nice as the main lift. And then pretty solid leg day going forward from there. And I'm pretty sure it's day 7, so it's the end of the the split cycle. So I'll start from day one on probably Friday or Saturday. I'll start that day. So I might even do it tomorrow because I'm pretty sure it's an upper day, and I can do that in the morning and then have jits in the evening. Some days I don't really like putting jits and lifting the same day, but with all the calories I've been having, it doesn't seem like it's really affecting me that much if I do the basically 2-a-days. And at the end of the day, like, I think I've talked about this before. I kind of brought up how jiu-jitsu is more cardio based at least how I feel when it is. You get like a little bit of an arm pump, but that's about it. And that's just from like, I think just all the grips and pulling. But outside of that, it's just a lot of movement and a lot of cardio of holding in place and holding another human being, trying to hold them down or get them off of you, stuff like that. So, yeah. So maybe tomorrow will be a 2-a-day. We'll see how today goes and how I feel tomorrow morning. But pretty excited for it. We're gonna have a pretty good leg day. Some back squats. We'll see if I can get past the 185 feeling in conjunction with my lower back stuff. So again, especially like these squats and these hinge movements, I'm trying to stack it slowly. The progression needs to go slower because I don't want to re-injure myself. And at this point, it's probably more in my head of me trying to baby it more than it's actually an issue. But I don't want to not be cautious and then something happens and then I'm out even longer. So might as well just progress nice and slow. So hopefully squats will get heavier, but we'll see if I pass that 185 mark. I might just rep it out instead. We'll see how I'm feeling when I'm actually there. And then I think it's pretty normal leg day outside of that. I think I have the only thing that's off about it, if I remember right, it's either sled pushes or Zercher shrugs. And I'm probably gonna do the Zercher shrugs. The gym I'm at doesn't really have a sled. I don't think. And my sled is at the combat gym. That's where I store it. So, and I'm not gonna like go to the gym and drive all the way across town, do that, and come back. So I'll probably just do the Zercher. So it's gonna be kind of weird on a leg day, but and I don't know why I have that set up as the difference, but I do want to get the Zercher shrugs in at times. Mainly like, what I've talked about before with Zercher squats and Zercher deads and stuff like that. They're about as sports specific as I get. Anything Zercher is about as sports specific as I get with like, where I'm thinking about direct correlation that comes over to the sport. So anything Zercher, because in jiu-jitsu you're staying tight and you're framing and you're holding yourself, blocking yourself from somebody else. I feel as like if you train the Zercher, you train yourself, especially if you get heavier weight in it. You're training your frames to be solid and strong, and your positioning and your isometric muscles surrounding all the area holding this bar in front of you helps you build better frames. So not only is the shrug part still building that stuff for me, it's also building those traps and those back muscles and all that stuff to do what I want it to do while I'm in this position. So say I'm in frames in jiu-jitsu and I'm trying to use it to move around, or I want to crunch, or I need to shrug something up. Like I said, it's not necessarily sports specific, but it's as sports specific as I get, because I'm not a big believer that you have to do exactly what you're doing in your sport, whatever it is, in the gym. You know, like your basic movements will cover the part that the gym needs to cover, and then your sport will cover what your sport needs to cover. However, some stuff might as well do it because I'm still getting the work I need out of it, and it's not anything that's like wackadoo. You know, it's not, Zercher stuff is not some foreign movement. that was just I just threw together because I do frames and jiu-jitsu. It's an actual movement. It's great. It builds some solid, and I like the front loaded stuff. And just being front loaded like that in this Zercher position really attacks that whole, really the whole posterior chain of your spine back here and your front abdominals, and also just to hold it still in front of you. And that's why I'm a big fan of just the Zercher instead. I mean, you've never done them. You could just try even the squat variation, which is the most common one, and that's where you just pull the bar on the crux of your arm and squat straight down. You just gotta have a little bit wider stance, like kind of like a front squat. Go a little light, but you'll feel how much activation. I actually think it activates that whole core, from front to back all the way around, more than even just a front squat does, just because of how it's front loaded. So anyway, I'll be doing those, I believe. So that'll be the only weird thing in the workout today. So good news and bad news. Good news is I got my working sets up to 275 for the squats, right? Bad news is I probably could have pushed higher, but because of me trying to baby my lower back, I just stopped there. I kind of took what I could get and ran the 4 sets of 5, I believe is what I had going on. It took quite a bit to get up there. I basically worked from the bar and was adding 10s pretty much the whole time until I got to about 135, and then I added the 25s and went from there. Freaking busy night tonight. Freaking sometimes, you just a street that is not always that crazy to get out onto. Just it's wild. Okay, freaking 6:30 at night. I guess it's kind of still rush hour, right? During like getting off work hours. It's like 5 and 6 and stuff. Anyway, great leg day. Probably could have pushed it, didn't push it, and I probably will next squat day because, like I said, I feel great and they looked pretty smooth. I don't know if you watched the footage, but the sets were pretty clean and pretty clear, so which is good news because that means I can start ramping it up and I can really keep pushing. It means the progression is working, and that's kind of like, at the end of the day, that's what we wanted, right? We want the progression to be working. We want it to be showing results that, even if it's not huge differences, like last week, what was it, 185, and then this week it's 275. Like that's a big difference. That's a huge jump. It's almost 100 pounds. So you gotta take your progression how it's built and realize that it's gonna pay off as long as you're methodical about it. You've been sticking to the plan. I know I've been eating a lot of food. We just talked about that. So sticking to the plan it seems like it's paying off really well, and with recovery, with output, all that stuff. So we'll just keep riding that train, and hopefully we're up to our 4 or 5 plates, and by the end of everything, and we can call it good there. I don't know. So yeah, I really want to get to the point where I can talk to you while I'm in the gym and stuff like that, and you can hear the gym going and stuff. But the problem is half the time there's like music down there blaring, and because of like copyright stuff, I can't really put that in the video. But then I can kind of like alter in editing, but it's still like it's flagged by YouTube a lot. So I've been putting the music over it, and I don't know. It'd be nice to be able to talk to you while I was in the sets. I could talk to you through what I was doing, so I'm not like trying to recap it. I don't know what that sounded. Try to recap it at the end, like I'm doing right now. But yeah, maybe I'll do voiceovers. I don't know if you've watched this video to this point and you have some tips for me. That'd be great. Maybe I put music and a voiceover, I don't know, or maybe I just do what I've been doing, where I do the intro, the outro, and then I just put music over the lifting portion. And I also don't throw up every set that I do, just because I feel like it'd be kind of repetitive, like over and over, you're seeing the same thing over and over. So I don't know, or maybe I should put every set up. I don't know if that's what you want to see or not, but you can also let me know there. And I do want to touch on one thing. You probably see it in the video where I did the good mornings instead of back extensions. The back extensions machine, like there's 2 of them, and both of them were being used for like a class that was happening or something like that. So I improvised and I did good mornings instead. And you can see there where, not that it's a direct like it's not a 1-for-1 kind of movement, because a good morning you feel a lot more in your hammies than you do your lower back and your glutes, where where the back extension is really trying to hit. But you can play around with it and kind of figure out where your position should be to feel it, some load in your lower back and your glutes, and squeeze your glutes to the top and all that stuff to kind of like emphasize where you're trying to target. And I kind of found that if you don't overdo it, but if you keep the weight pretty light and stuff, you can kind of, when you get to the bottom there, you can kind of see where I sink my chest a little bit, and it kind of makes my lower back stretch just a little bit more without fully rounding. So I don't know if you do those or you ever need a different movement than back extensions. You could try that, and that's kind of how I was figuring out. And to take out my hamstrings a bit, I did widen up my grip. I tried close, like a narrow stance, and then I tried a wider one. I think the wider one took my hammies out a little bit more. But that might just be me, personal preference, who knows. But I'm gonna eat and relax.